Welcome, everyone, to episode 2 of the Mom and Tom podcast. My name's Mom.
And I'm Tom. And this episode is being recorded on December 9th, just for reference. And today we are going to be discussing the Avengers movies, and more specifically, the Marvel Cinematic Universe in its entirety. This is going to be a part 1 because we have a feeling that the discussion on this topic is going to take a lot longer than just one episode.
Yes.
But we got really excited about the Marvel movies recently because the Avengers 4 trailer just dropped the other day. But before we get into that, I want to mention that we have an email in case anybody who's listening would like to send us an email about like feedback or just something that we were talking about. We love to see the interaction from people who are listening. So our email is just all one word. It's momandtompodcast, and that's at gmail.com. We're also going to be posting this on YouTube, so feel free to comment on YouTube. Any of that sort of participation we love to see. So feel free to talk to us in any way you want. I just want to give a quick shout out to the people who subscribe to us on YouTube. It was awesome to see a few people subscribe and the views that we got. We got some feedback from family and friends, and that was really fun to see. So thank you guys so much for your feedback and your responses. That was really fun to read and definitely made us put a smile on our faces. We just wanted to touch quickly on a couple of responses that we got from last week's episode.
Yeah, one of the questions we asked was we were talking about Thanksgiving and what do vegetarians eat on Thanksgiving? Well, we had a friend make a comment on Facebook, and this person said that they eat potatoes, corn, yams, rolls, and other fruits and veggies for Thanksgiving. Okay, that totally makes sense. So that probably should have been sort of a duh. But we just really appreciate the participation and that person responding. And this person also said that there are actually 2 Charlie Brown Thanksgiving specials. Now, I'm going to have to check this out. I didn't have a chance to do that before the broadcast today, but I'm curious. I don't remember there being 2, but I totally believe this source. So I'm going to check it out.
Yes, reliable source, but definitely might need to look those up. I do not think I've seen them either.
Right.
Another response that we got when we were discussing decorations between the different holidays, a friend of mine let me know that their family used to have a blow-up giant turkey that they would put outside their house for Thanksgiving. And I think that sounds like a hilarious decoration. And
yes.
I'm upset that I don't remember that, but I'm sure it was great.
Possibly a little scary for young children, but
yeah, I guess I didn't ask how big it was, so I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, we just wanted to respond to a few of your comments and say thank you for the feedback before we get into our main topic, which again, Avengers 4 trailer just came out on Friday. And fun fact about this trailer, it has been out for 2 days and has over 55 million views.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Wow.
I remember I saw a notification for it. I was at work on Friday and I saw a notification for it and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to check this out. When I was eating my lunch, I looked it up. And it was the first day it was out, and it had like 10 million views.
Wow.
It had been up for like a couple hours.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow, they've built such a following.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. So because of that, and sort of, even though admittedly the trailer itself didn't really like give us much information, it was kind of just sort of like an emotional sort of oh boy, got to try to rescue everybody now because half of the group died. But
Or faded away.
Yes, faded
as you
away.
say.
Yeah. And so we got excited though from seeing that trailer and wanted to make a few episodes talking about these movies because I feel like, I mean, at this point, there's like 20 movies that all have led up to this point.
21.
21. Yeah, 21 movies that have led up to this point. And so I mean, for those of you who have watched all these movies like we have, we've put so much like time and into this whole series that it's like it's kind of emotional that it's going to be all culminating, coming up to an end next year. So we wanted to talk about the whole universe, and so we looked up a list. My mom has it up. We looked up a list of every single movie in the MCU, and it's in chronological order by release date.
Correct.
So we're kind of reaching back for these older movies for sure. And quick mention, I kind of already did some spoilers, I guess, but if you haven't seen these movies, we're definitely going to be spoiling them. So,
Yes.
but we figure that at this point, if there's people who haven't seen them, it's probably because they're not really their thing or they don't really care that much
Sure.
about the movies.
Sure.
Because at this point, these movies have been out for so long
Yes.
that I think everyone who wanted to see them has seen them. So I just wanted to say that quick. So let's just get into it,
Okay.
shall we?
Yeah.
The first movie on the list.
Yeah.
What
We're
is
going to
it?
start with the first one that was released, Iron Man, released in 2008. So 10 years ago now. And fun fact, this movie grossed $318 million, over that actually.
Wow.
But I will tell you another fun fact. The largest grossing MCU movie in the MCU was by far Black Panther, and that was over 700 million. So over twice what Iron Man did.
And that's crazy to me because I would have
awesome.
definitely figured that it would have been one of those Avengers movies,
No.
considering that it has so many characters in it, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, people were so excited for Black Panther,
Oh,
and
and it was so good.
it
I
was
loved
so
it.
good, and just the how it was so unique
Yes.
too, compared to all the other superhero movies.
Yeah. It was different. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely had its own taste, and I'm definitely happy
Yeah,
to see it
yeah,
at the top.
yeah.
I thought
So
it
that's
was
really
great.
cool. Yeah. I was just surprised by how much. Oh my goodness. I mean, over twice, you know.
Right.
It was just, but that's really awesome. So
And
before we get too far into that, I mean, our thought here was to, you know, talk a little bit about each movie. And like we say, this probably is going to take us more than one episode to do this. So, so the first one being Iron Man. I will say that I really liked this movie. I would, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, I would probably rate it right up there in like a, 8 or so. I might have rated it higher at the time because there was nothing else to really compare it to.
right.
But now that there's been all these other movies, just trying to put everything in perspective. But yeah, I liked it. I thought I just thought they did a really good job with the story. I never read the comics, so I also have no preconceived thoughts of what it should or could look like.
Right. I definitely think that is something that we should preface our ratings with, is that even though we're like fans of the superhero genre, we're not really like avid, comic book readers or anything
Correct.
like that.
Yeah,
So
it's a different perspective.
right. It's definitely a different perspective when you're someone who's read about these characters for so long. So that is not where we're at, but we definitely are fans of the genre. And I think I would agree with you. I would put Iron Man at probably like a 7 or 8. I thought it was really well done, and Robert Downey Jr. I think fits the character of Tony
Perfect.
Stark
Like a
so
glove.
well.
Yeah.
Kind
Excellent
of
casting, let's say.
Yeah, kind of like an arrogant, rich guy, but also really smart. So yeah, he definitely fits that.
He plays
role.
that well. He plays that
Fits
well.
it well.
And I think also, obviously, me being older, being a parent, I'm going to have a little bit of a different perspective as well, because, watching the character of Tony Stark, you just know there's more there. That, typically when someone behaves like that, there's something they're reacting to from their past, some
Right.
kind of, and of course, as the character develops, you find that out, and that there is more to Tony Stark. He goes through a really extremely difficult trial of being, captured by terrorists
Yep.
and tortured and all of that. But that how, he finds out what he's made out of. And really, so Iron Man, in a lot of ways, Tony Stark, not only does he build, the suit for Iron Man, but he, in a way, he finds out what he is made of, deep down, that he's not just this, carefree playboy. He really is a genius. He really is someone who is going to take an extremely awful situation, and he survived because of what's inside of him, kind of finding out that there is an Iron Man inside of him. So there you go.
That was a very deep
Yes.
analysis there. I liked that.
Probably much more than's really there, but
No, I really hope that's what the writers intended.
And if they didn't, they should.
Yeah, I agree. So, I think that pretty much summarizes our thoughts on the first Iron Man.
Yeah, you didn't say a whole lot.
No, but you took that away great. So I don't really have anything else to add, other than at the time these movies, since a lot of them are sort of have like, sci-fi themes, and obviously superheroes, they have super abilities, and those aren't real. So there's a lot of CGI in these kind of movies.
Sure.
And they Marvel has kind of just at this point been known for having really awesome CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to mention that, yeah, even back in the first Iron Man, I thought their CGI was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got some pretty sweet effects.
Well, and CGI makes it possible to do with live action people what you previously could only do with animation.
Right.
So,
yeah, they wear those
really
whole
cool.
suits with the buttons on, or like whatever they're called,
Little
the motion
ninjas,
capture
yeah.
suits that
Yeah.
they wear. Yeah, those are so cool. It's so cool to see the technology that's evolved for these kind of things.
It's got to be super weird for them though when they're acting that. So kudos to them, man.
Right.
They make it look easy.
For sure. So the second one on the list, if I remember correctly, is The Incredible Hulk.
Yes, it is. And this also was 2008. This one only grossed, less than half of what Iron Man did. It grossed 134 million. And this again was The Incredible Hulk that featured Edward Norton and Liv Tyler. So, they ended up diverging from that.
Right.
And maybe, I don't know what the thinking was behind that. Did they feel like it didn't work with those actors? Did those actors just not want to do it again? Who knows?
And that's possible. I mean, considering that it grossed so much less than Iron Man, maybe they felt like that was a sign in some way. Like that maybe these aren't exactly the right people for the movie. I mean, nothing against those actors and actresses, but I'm just thinking because after this point, they switched to Mark Ruffalo as being the Hulk. And admittedly, I don't really remember a whole lot from this Edward Norton one.
I honestly don't either.
So to be honest, it's going to be hard for me to give a rating. But I remember it not being as engaging as Iron Man, in my opinion. Again, these are just our opinions. So
right.
I think I'd probably give this movie more like a 5.
Yeah.
Something in there.
I could go with that. Yeah.
It wasn't a bad movie.
No.
But I didn't think it was as engaging as Iron Man.
Yeah. Engaging is a good word. I like that. Yeah. I didn't feel as engaged with this one either. And I will say I did not see this one in the theater.
I don't think I did either.
I saw it at home.
Right.
So, yeah. yeah, like you said, it wasn't like it was a bad movie. It just uh, didn't draw you in
Right.
the way that
I
the
agree.
character of Tony Stark did.
And what you were just mentioning though about the seeing it in theaters versus at home is, I think it's a important point, especially with movies that are more action based and have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
CGI and stuff like
Right.
this, that I feel like seeing it in theaters is
Yes.
actually a way better experience.
Oh yes, I would
Because
agree.
seeing it on a gigantic screen, to see the action scenes and to see the cool effects and all
Mhm.
that, I think it makes it
The impact.
right.
is,
The impact. I agree. I think the impact is way higher when
Mhm.
you're in the big screen, surrounded by the giant speakers and all that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, you really
Yeah.
feel it more.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
So which one is third on the list? I do not
Okay. Well,
remember.
Iron Man 2,
Iron Man 2 is up next.
2010. And again, this grossed pretty close to the first Iron Man. It's like 312 million, and the first Iron Man was 318. So very close. I will say though, I did not like this one as much as I liked the first one. I just couldn't super get into the character of Mickey Rourke.
Because
that
this
he-
was the one where he was
the
like
Russian.
his assistant or something. Or which? Oh, sorry. Wait, is that 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, sorry. I'm getting them confused.
Yeah,
Sorry about
yeah.
that.
Yeah. This is the one with Mickey Rourke where he's like the Russian. I can't remember. He had been like a prisoner or something, and he tries to lash out at Tony Stark because he has ties to Tony's father's legacy. And I'm sorry that I'm
Oh.
probably not explaining this very well.
I think I'm remembering it now. I agree that this one was not as good as the first, though.
Yeah, and I do know that Tony Stark was struggling with his whole heart. It says that he's struggling with his health in this one, and then this character that Mickey Rourke played, and forgive me, I'm not even remembering the name of the character, but that he was trying to take revenge on
Right.
Tony for things his dad had done. So. Yeah, but and then this also had the introduction of Don Cheadle
As War Machine.
Yeah.
I
But as his friend,
right.
the Air Force friend.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
And yeah, he ends up being like sort of Iron Man's partner in crime, and he has
Right.
another suit.
Right.
It's
He's
like
his friend. Yeah.
dark blue or something.
I'm forgetting the name of the guy who played that character in the first one.
Oh.
I'm just forgetting.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Terrence Howard.
actually.
Terrence
There you
Howard.
go.
Yeah.
Terrence Howard.
Yeah. Played his Air Force buddy in the first one, and then yes. Don
I love
Cheadle.
Don Cheadle as
Yeah,
that character.
I
though.
do.
I'm
I
a
wasn't
big
sure if I was
fan.
gonna like it at first. I'm like, oh, okay, well that's different. But then you know what he did? He did great with it,
I agree.
and he's continued to do great with it. So
Definitely has.
Yeah.
I think for a rating for this one, I would probably give it
I'm
6.
thinking like 6 or 7 or so, right? And yeah, 6 is probably fair. Yeah, just because I just couldn't get into the character of Mickey Rourke's character. I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I think that's very fair criticism for it. So yeah, we're gonna give that one a 6. I think.
Okay.
Which one is up next?
The next one is in 2011, and that's Thor. I liked this one. I liked the first Thor, and I knew probably literally nothing about that character again because I didn't read the comics. But I thought that I just thought Chris Hemsworth it was a great casting.
I know.
A great Thor.
Those Marvel Studios guys or gals have something
whoever
for their
doing
casting.
Their casting, yeah.
Yeah. And this was also Natalie Portman.
Mm-hmm.
And who? Sorry about the tapping. Who's the one who plays the scientist with
Tom
Natalie?
Hiddleston is his name. He's
He's Thor's brother. Tom Hiddleston is Thor's brother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Loki.
I'm sorry.
I
said
meant
the wrong one.
this, the older guy, the scientist
I do,
with
and
Natalie
I can't
Portman.
remember now. I don't remember
Because I
his
actually
name.
think he plays that character really well.
Yes.
I apologize for not remembering the guy's name, but
Yeah.
hopefully you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
He's kind of an older gentleman.
Yeah.
He was like a scientist with a university or something like that. He works with Natalie Portman in the movie, and but yeah, his character is really good. I mean, Tom Hiddleston, pretty good at playing an evil.
Oh my
sneak
gosh!
stinker.
Again, great casting with Loki on that one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, his name is Loki in the movie. He's Thor's evil brother, and yeah, he's pretty good. He's
the one
pretty
you
good
love
at
to
that.
hate.
Yes.
He did a great job. So this one for me, I think again I would give it like 8, 9, like right
I got
up there.
8
right
or
up
9.
there.
I think I might have actually I think this one for me was actually better than Iron Man in my opinion. I thought I don't know. I just think
Really?
the character of Thor is really neat. Like the
Yeah.
whole thing with Asgard
Mhm.
and him coming to Earth and then
It feels a little more Supermanish to me. Not to cross universes here, but Thor feels a little Supermanish to me, except that he has the hammer, and Superman doesn't have a hammer. But Superman's from another planet.
True. That
You know.
is a good point because this was the first Marvel movie where we saw it's a superhero that's not really like a regular guy. Like whereas
Right.
Iron Man, both Iron Man and Hulk in ways were kind of just
Yeah,
regular
Because
guys.
Bruce Banner is quote unquote normal until
he
gets mad.
gets mad and transforms. And then the same with
Seems to.
Iron Man, whereas he doesn't really have powers. He just is really smart and has the machines.
Sort of like
and-
Batman.
right.
If you
And
had
so-
again, sorry, crossing universes.
No, it's a good
pretty awful.
comparison. It's a good comparison. So yeah, and then that is true because Thor is the first one that we got to see where he sort of is like this godlike being, and it is sort of born with the power instead of discovering it or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's overly arrogant and does something stupid and gets cast down
Yes,
to earth.
he gets
basically.
humbled
down to
for
earth
sure. As a punishment.
in more than one way, physically down to earth, and then also just a humbling, like you said, getting down to earth and having to understand what it is to not have access to all his powers.
Correct. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give this one like an 8.5. I think that will be my rating, or a 9 maybe. I don't know. It was really good.
It's good.
I liked it a lot.
It is good. I agree.
So
Do we have time for another one?
Yeah, I think we can do one more.
Okay.
What's the next one on the list?
Well, this is another really good one. Okay, Captain America: The First Avenger, again, also in 2011.
yes,
so-
I loved Captain America.
Yes.
Yes,
I
because and this
agree.
one was sort of also, take us back to more of a normal guy who's sort
and
of
really an underdog.
right.
In his case.
the underdog story type
Yes.
thing where he was the why can't I think of his name?
Chris Evans.
Yeah, but
Yeah, actually.
his character's name, not Captain America.
Steve
but
Rogers.
Steve Rogers.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Steve Rogers was this kind of skinny guy who during World War II he wanted to be a part of the army
Yeah, he
and
wanted to serve his country.
serve in the war, but he was really little, so he couldn't really get into the army. Right?
Right.
Isn't that
So just an aside, again talking about the CG.
yeah.
So here's just an aside of the freakish thing of seeing Chris Evans CGI'd as this really skinny guy.
Yeah, that was very odd.
Was kind of humorous.
It was
I mean,
very
it
odd
was a
to
little bit
see.
funny. It was a little bit like, oh wow, that's the power of CGI.
Yeah. Like the CGI wasn't bad. It just was so
No.
weird to see.
It was just he looked like a little pinhead.
Yeah, it was like, whoa.
just super weird.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
And then and basically to be able to serve in the war, he signs up for this kind of crazy experiment
Super soldier. Yeah.
that they're trying to they're inject him with
Mm-hmm.
you
Super
know,
soldier serum is what they
super soldier serum, yeah. And then he turns into Captain America.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's the guy with the red, white, and blue shield, and can deflect bullets and do all this crazy stuff. And he goes off and fights the Germans.
And he's really sort of the like the almost the antithesis or the opposite of Tony Stark, you know, where he begins as a humble guy and he remains a humble guy even after. So the heart of him remains.
Right. He is absolutely the goody two shoe of the group.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. Watch your language.
Watch your language.
And I'm sorry, I interrupted something you were going to say.
No, that's all I was going to mention, actually, was that he is kind of the and sort of the heart of the group, I would say.
Yes.
And I'm talking about the group as in the Avengers. When we haven't gotten to Avengers yet, but when we eventually get to it, that's when all these kind of these big names come together and they fight together.
Yes.
So that's why I'm talking about with the whole group of them. Captain America kind of takes the leadership role, and he's
the stabilizer. Yeah.
Right. Yep. So
yeah,
I think for rating for this one, I'm gonna do 9. I think it.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
You know,
I really did think that this one was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, and a awesome performance by Hugo Weaving as well. He's one of my favorites too, like from Lord of the Rings and
oh yes,
and
don't get her started on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. But I like Hugo Weaving. I think he's just got such an expressive face. Of course, in this movie, he ends up pulling off a mask and having a horrible red face, but because he's an example of the super soldier serum gone wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, because I think his heart was not right, and so I think that super soldier serum takes whatever is in you and multiplies it. And in Steve Rogers' case, you know, he had a, if you will, pure heart, you know, and Hugo Weaving's character, and I'm forgetting the name of that character, but you know, did not. I think he did not have he wanted the power and the strength for a not so honorable reason.
Definitely. I love how deep you go with your analysis. I really appreciate it.
I'm old. And my perspective's different.
All right, but I think that's going to wrap up this part 1 of our sort of review of the Marvel Universe. Our goal is to get through all of these movies before we get to this final Avengers 4. And just in case anyone was wondering, this Avengers 4, it is being named Endgame, and it is coming out in April. I heard that they don't have an exact date yet, but I've heard that it's April. So the last movie that is going to be part of the Marvel Universe before Avengers comes out is called Captain Marvel. That one's going to come out in March, so just 1 month before.
Yeah.
And we're going to go see it.
Yeah, and that seems to be a Marvel pattern, the release of 2 of them near each other. And
I think it's a good. I think it's
really smart.
I agree, because we were talking about it earlier, but you're mentioning that it kind of keeps the momentum going.
It builds the awareness and raises everything. Yeah, they use the momentum of the first one, you know, helps them with the next one. So I think it's interesting.
Definitely. So yeah, that's about it for this episode 2.
But
part 1.
I do want to invite, you know, any people out there who've got more comments on the ones that we did talk about. You know, the first Avenger, Thor, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, and Iron Man 1. I mean, you know, the ones that we've talked about so far. If you've got some things to say, we'd love to hear it.
Definitely.
So please let us know. Please make your comments. Send us emails, whatever you'd like.
Yeah, I apologize for that alarm going off. That's our alarm to wrap up the show there. Sorry about that. But, just like my mom said, please feel free to send us an email. Again, our email is momandtompodcast@gmail.com. No spaces, all one word. Or leave us a comment on YouTube. We'll read everything that we get. All right. So thank you very much for listening. and we will see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.